Hello, hello. Hope that you're doing absolutely fantastic today. I know I, for one, am trying my best. If you've been keeping up with any of my recent videos, you know that October was not kind to me in the slightest. It was just inconvenience after inconvenience, one right after the other, both major and minor. And it has made it really difficult to figure out what I wanted to talk about in this week's video. Not only have I just been overly busy, but I've also just been dealing with all of the effects of everything that's been going on. So I'm finally sitting down with a topic that I want to discuss today, but before we get into it, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you've never seen my face, never seen one of my videos, my name is McKenna. I own a digital media company called Studio SB Creatives. And today I just want to talk about not letting things affect you that are outside of your control. Life is full of highs and lows, higher lows and lower highs, and sometimes you're going to feel like you're hitting the absolute rock bottom. And, it's really hard to not be or act emotional in those moments. But going to back to my last video, it's super important to maintain focus, to stay on top of those feelings and not let those emotions infiltrate the area of your mind that allows you to keep pushing forward and to keep overcoming those obstacles and getting in the way of being focused on what the overall goal is. I, for one, have tried my absolute hardest, and I did lose sight of that for a minute, for the first time in a very, very, very long time. But losing sight of it, losing that control, is actually what took me out of the mindset that I was in and allowed me to regain control. It gave me a new perspective, and it really let me get a grasp on all the things that were going on, and it really allowed me to take the reins back. So things are going to happen in life. Unexpected things or even expected things that are just mostly negative. The world has the worst timing, it seems like, for just about anything. And it's really important to note that if you are prepared for the worst, expecting the best, usually you can stay on top of those moments. Is it going to suck? Yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to suck bad. But when you're prepared for those types of moments, it's a little bit easier to manage. You realize that it is just a setback, whether it's a minor setback, whether it's a major setback, it is just a setback. You take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But what you can keep doing is keep moving forward. And that's really what the point is that I'm trying to get across with this video. Things are going to happen that are outside of your control your entire life, and how you choose to react to those instances, to those situations, to those elements is what will determine what happens in the near and sometimes even distant future. Life is going to be full of different storms, and how you adjust your sails going into those storms is going to determine your outcome in its most simplistic form. If things are constantly happening to you, you're just, it's just rolling punch after rolling punch. You can either sit down and you can take those punches and you can let them, just beat you down and beat you down and beat you down until you have nothing left, no ambition, no drive, no desire to continue moving forward. Or you can understand that some of the things that happen are outside of your control, and you can basically take that one punch, take those couple punches, and get back up and keep trying and keep trying and keep moving forward and be focused. Whatever your goal is, whatever you want to achieve, realize that whatever is happening in this moment is only temporary. It's not going to last forever. It might have some lasting effects, but as long as you are able to overcome those moments, you will be able to not only get back to where you were, but you will also be able to push beyond that barrier, push beyond that ceiling, push beyond that distance, and just keep going. I know that this is very preachy and very, optimistic type talk, and honestly, it gets on my nerves when people try and do that to me, but sometimes it does help to hear those things. And I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine where they were about the third or fourth person who said, it's going to get better. You know, it's just one thing. It's just these couple things. Like there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I was just like, I'm so sick of hearing that. What I told this person that I wanted was normality. I want to go back to feeling like things are under my control. And that's what causes a lot of people to be emotional in those moments. It's that feeling that they have no control. And I think that's exactly what happened to me. Was the first thing that happened was within my control. And then it seemed like a ton of other things that were outside of it just piled on top of that. So it's like I was feeling bad and feeling stupid over a dumb mistake that I made. And then life just kind of kept dumping things on one after the other. And it's like, so I was dealing with those internal feelings that were negative on my own behalf. And then it's like the world just dealt me more negatives to deal with on top of those intrinsic feelings. And I spiraled a little bit. And I felt like I was losing control. I felt like it was really hard for me to make the right decision. I felt like it was really hard for me to do the things that I knew I had to do or wanted to do because I was so busy living in those moments, reliving those negative instances that I was not able to push beyond those feelings. And it made it, I got stuck. I lost control. I got stuck and I didn't know where to go because I got too emotional about it. And like I said, I think that losing that little bit of control and developing a perspective, and like I said, I think losing that little bit of control helped me actually gain some perspective on how to regain it. And now I still don't feel good about the things that happened, but I realize now that they were not as big as I was making them out to be. And it still sucks. You know, it's put me in a bit of a financial hole, just all the things that have broken and gotten ruined over the last couple weeks, as well as the emotional toll that all the stress has taken on me and put on my job and the people that I work with and my teams. So I've worked on rebuilding those relationships, which has given me a little bit of peace of mind. I realized that the financial setbacks are just financial setbacks. That money's going to come back. As I move into the slow season of my work, it's going to be a little bit slower. It's kind of annoying that it's happening now because I won't be able to recover as quickly, but I know that I will be able to recover. Every year gets a little bit easier to deal with things like this. And this isn't, financial advice, but if you're able to put away some money and be prepared for emergencies and unforeseen things happening, it does really help to alleviate some of the stress because it's like it sucks dishing out a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000 all at one time for something that's seemingly stupid. But in your mind, you know that you're prepared for things like that to happen. And it doesn't, it just sucks. You're like, you pay the money and you just kind of move on and you're like, damn, that was rough. But it doesn't keep you from being where you want to be. It might knock it back a little bit, but it won't ruin you. And I think that that's part of what helped also alleviate some stress from these couple situations. So basically, overall, what I'm trying to say is just when things happen, whether you plan for them or not, some of those things are going to be outside of your control. Just understand that some of those things are outside of your control and move on. Don't dwell on them. Don't hold on to them. Just realize that you can't do necessarily anything about them. And you just kind of have to push on and move forward and move past them. And then the things that are in your control, deal with them. Just deal with them in the ways that you know how or are best in relation to resolving the issues. And just try your hardest not to get emotional in those times because they will put you even further back than you want to be because you're not acting from a place of, I don't want to say sanity, but acting as objective as you usually would. So if you're dealing with things, if you're going through a rough patch and it seems like the entire sky is falling down around you, figure out whether some of these things are either within your control or outside of your control. Once you identify those things, if they're outside of your control, just try and figure out how you can move on from them. And if they are within your control, figure out how to deal with them to the best of your ability. So I dwell or talked in circles too much on this video either. So that's pretty much where I'm going to leave you. But if you like this video, if you found it helpful in any way, go ahead and leave me a like. If you want to leave me some reassuring words, or if you've been dealing with any situations in your life that you would like to discuss or talk about, past or present, maybe you want to discuss how those things affected you and how you were able to move past them, go ahead and leave a comment. And like usual, if you want to see more videos like this, you want to see what crazy adventures I get up to in the future, because there will be some crazy adventures. Or if you just want to see more of my face, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.